Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today, we've got Missouri High School Baseball Small School Predictions. This past week went super well for me, a 12-3 record. Here's the Class 1 scoreboard from this past week with some scores. Atlanta over North Shelby 6-1. Rockport defeats West Nottoway 5-1. Neelyville over Risco 16-1. St. Elizabeth versus South Callaway is canceled. Community over Sturgeon 13-6, and Advance defeats Cooter 8-3. Here is the Class 1 scoreboard for this week. We will start off with Leopold versus Advance. This one is tonight if you're watching this on Tuesday. I will go with Advance here. They are 6-1 in the matchup history since 2016. They just entered the top 5 in Class 1. These two teams have similar averages. I just think Advance is the more skilled team here. Vienna versus Iberia. The Rangers have 6 straight wins against Vienna. The pitching staff is playing super well for them. 2.1 runs allowed per game. They're sitting outside of the top 10 in Class 2. I have them winning here. Halfway versus Wheatland. I will go with Wheatland. This is a close matchup history, 7-6 in favor of Wheatland since 2016. They are back in the top 10 after, I believe, 1 week outside of it. Halfway, they're kind of cold right now. They were ranked on one other site just for a little bit. They did not get into top 10 for me, and then they've put some losses together here in the past 2 weeks. I think they'll get out of it soon, but it won't start here with the Mules. I will go with Wheatland. Sturgeon versus Silex. I will take the Road Owls here in this one. This is a 2-2 matchup history since 2016. Silex 10.4 runs per game right now. I'll go with them here. Valley Catholic versus Jefferson Festus. I will go with Valley Catholic in this one. 8 straight wins against Jefferson. They're climbing the top 10. I believe I have them at number 6 right now. They've just looked better against common opponents. I think that's a big teller in some of these. I think the Warriors will come out on top. Rockport versus Maysville is the Class 1 game of the week. I will take Maysville in this one. They are a Class 2 team. I believe I got them at number 5 in Class 2 right now. It's a 2-0 matchup history in favor of Maysville, and they've got 9 straight currently this season. So they're looking for their 10th straight win. Coming up on the playoffs, this is a hot team. I think they win it here. Class 2 from this past week, we'll start off with Portageville and Scott City, which did not happen. Alton over Van Buren 11-4. Mid Buchanan defeats North Platte 7-5. Purdy over Stratford 5-4. North Callaway defeats Silex 5-2, and Gainesville versus Fordland was canceled. Here is the Class 2 scoreboard. Fayette versus South Callaway tonight. If it's not canceled, I know there's some rain in the area. I have not seen anything saying that this one's canceled, so sorry if it does get pushed. I will go with South Callaway in this one. It's a 1-0 matchup history in the Bulldogs' favor. They've looked better against common opponents this season. Take them on the road here. Chaffee versus Scott City is the Class 2 game of the week. These two teams are 5-5 against each other since 2016, an even matchup history. So far this season, Scott City and the non-common opponents has had a very tough schedule, and that's not the same case for Chaffee. These two teams have a lot of common opponents, and they're beating all of them. But like I said, outside of the common opponents, Scott City has challenged themselves more, and they've looked better. Chaffee, this is one of their biggest tests of the year, if not the biggest test of the year. We'll see if they can do it. I just don't know if they are ready for this one. Scott City has proven themselves already, so I will go with the Rams. Hartville versus Norwood. I will take Hartville. They are 8-3 against Norwood since 2016. They're looking better against common opponents this year. We've got them in the top 10 in Class 2. Windsor versus Tipton. The Greyhounds have a 7-6 matchup history lead since 2016. I think Tipton evens it up there at 7-7. They're back on track after a tough start to the season. 7-3 in their last 10 games. So I will take the Cardinals on the road here. Gainesville versus Alton. I will go with Gainesville here. 14 straight wins against Alton. They're number 3 in Class 2. They're 9-1 in their last 10. This is a hot team. I think they win it. Purdy versus Miller. Miller's coming off a really tough week where they lost 3 games. Purdy right now, they are looking good. A plus 7.1 run differential. They are 8-1 against Miller since 2016. That one loss was last season where Miller won the state championship. They just haven't looked to that level quite yet this year. Now, last year it was a postseason run for Miller. But I think Purdy right now, we've got him at number 4, I believe, in Class 2. This team is looking great. I will go with the Eagles. Class 3 from this past week. Knob Noster over Carrollton 1-0. Ash Grove defeats Miller 2-1. Blair Oaks over Helias 3-2. Centralia defeats Palmyra 15-0. Duchesne over Kirkwood 5-1. And Fairgrove defeats Fatima 7-1. Here is the Class 3 scoreboard for this week. Fairgrove versus Stockton. I will take Fairgrove here. This matchup history is tied 5-5 since 2016. We've got Fairgrove at number 1 in Class 3. I'm impressed by him this year. I got to take him here. Ava versus Licking. I'll take Licking. They're 3-1 since 2016 against Ava. A plus 6 run differential. They're coming off a 1-0 loss to Fatima. I expect them to be hungry to get back on track. Bell versus St. Elizabeth. St. Elizabeth has 8 straight wins against Bell. They're scoring 8.4 runs per game. The Tigers have been a sleeper team this year, beating some top teams. But I think St. Elizabeth keeps that number 1 spot in Class 1. Centralia versus Blair Oaks is the Class 3 game of the week. One of the biggest games of the entire regular season in Class 3. And we've seen a lot of top teams play each other so far this year. This is number 3 Blair Oaks versus number 4 Centralia. I've kept the Panthers below Blair Oaks because I feel like the Falcons have really put themselves through the ringer this year with Class 6 opponents. They're starting to rack up some losses. Due to that, I wanted to see this head-to-head matchup to solidify that Centralia is above Blair Oaks. It's on Friday. I'm going to be at this one covering for Centralia. I'm incredibly excited for it. I'm going with the Panthers. They are down 7-2 in the matchup history since 2016. But if there's a year to do it, it's this because they are looking incredible. A plus 8 run differential. They're scoring over 10 a game. I got to go with the Panthers here. Mid-Buchanan versus Savannah. I will take Savannah here. A 2-0 matchup history over Mid-Buck. They just beat Benton 10-0 yesterday. If you're watching this on Tuesday, that's an incredible momentum win. Probably even got them into the top 10. We'll see once I start to look through things tomorrow before the Wednesday edition for Class 4. I think I'll have them in. I can't guarantee it right now, though. But I think they ride that momentum and get another good win here. Duchesne versus St. Dominic. Give me St. Dom here. 8 straight wins against Duchesne. They have not lost in almost a month. It was an out-of-state team back on, I believe, April 11th. So they're 6 days away from being a month since their last loss. This is a really good team. I've got them at number 3 in Class 5. This is a tough one for Duchesne being number 2 in Class 3. They're playing 2 classes above in this one. I think this is going to be a competitive matchup, but it'll end up coming down to the Crusaders on top. That's all we got for today. Large school predictions on Thursday. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.